to the bold analysis. Ladies and gentlemen, the man you are seeing in your screen is retired Captain Paul Rukaria, an ex-military man who served as a pilot of the Kenya Defence Forces, then also flew the Kenya National Carrier as a commercial pilot. And after having the successful stint in those two positions, he retired and ventured on politics and business. Paul Gikaria. I want us to look at his recent move, because many are wondering that why do you think he has decided to confront William Ruto and throw a lawsuit against William Ruto after his appointment was revoked on February 6th. Before we delve deep on that, I want to humbly request you that if you're watching our video for the first time and you've not yet subscribed, kindly subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell there so that when we publish more of these videos, you'll be receiving notification. And I want to say thank you, asanteni sana, for those who are already, for those who are subscribing. He ventured into private life. Now, this gentleman, in 2018, he was picked as the chairman of Party of National Unity. That was after the handshake, an outfit of the party that belonged to former President late Mwai Kibaki. And Mwai Kibaki used that party in his re-election bid in 2017. Then he will still take that, he took that position and was the leader or the chairman of PNU, which by that time there was even understanding that he was planning to seek an elective seat back in the central, in Mount Kenya, but he did not. Now, on August 5th, 2022, which was just 4 days to the general election, former President Uhuru Kenyatta appointed Rukaria as the chairperson of Kenya National Trading Corporation just 4 days to the general election. Now, Rukaria's appointment was amongst the very last minute appointments that Uhuru Kenyatta made towards the end of his tenure. And his contract was supposed to end after 3 years. Then his contract, when President William Ruto was formed, in fact, you need to know about this Kenya National Trading Corporation. It is a state corporation under the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries Cooperatives, which has been here since 1965. So it also had the influence of former Agriculture CS Peter Munya. Remember, Peter Munya was largely associated with the PNU. Actually, was at one point was the party leader of the PNU party, where then by that time they were really walikuwa navutana. Now, 6 months later, William Samuel Ruto revoked his appointment, and in a Gazette notice on Monday, February 6th, he replaced Rukaria with Hussein Tene Debaso, who was a candidate in the Isiolo gubernatorial seat in the last year's general election 2022. In Isiolo, Jubilee candidate won, so the UDA candidate came second, distant second, and then he was picked. Now, these changes have really rattled this former military man, and he decided to go to court challenging that removal. He was saying that there was no consultation within the respective state advisory committee before the revocation of this appointment. Now, you need to know something. Huh? There is a state corporation advisory committee that advises the presidents on running of these parastatals, government parastatals, commissions, independent commissions, and so on and so forth. And I don't think it's also advising an ambassador, but I think it's only on state corporations. So that committee is the committee that advises the president. So sometimes it's not about president even making a choice. The president have a choice, but of course, some choices are largely influenced by that advisory committee. Now he's saying, pending hearing and determination of the application inter partes, conservatory order is hereby granted, staying or halting application of realization of that Gazette notice, suspending of that Gazette notice of Hussein Tened Basso. Now, he is actually saying that the State Corporations Act is clear that before the president can revoke appointment of any board member, there has to be a cogent reason for the said revocation, and that the same must be subjected to consultation with the State Corporation Advisory Committee. In short, he's saying that that State Corporation Advisory Committee did not advise the president on that revocation, or that for that to be revoked. So why do you think he's getting the guts? Because he's not the first one. Of course, William Ruto has been replacing Uhuru Kenyatta's allies with those who sit politically right. I want to divert about and ask and look at it this way. The Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is saying that President William Ruto is seeking to work with those who understand the plan, the Kenya Kwanza plan, and those who can execute the plan. And so this was a state corporation and the parastatals. Those are parastatals and state corporations. So how difficult is it for some of them to align with the bottom-up economic model? You know, how is it difficult? Is it because these state corporations, how is it difficult wao kwamba kufanya venye rais anataka, because some of them have 5-year mandates on what's going on? Was the law forced? Was the law followed? And does it mean that President William Samoei Ruto has not been following the law in these revocations? This is a discussion that we'll take, and I want us to look at the interpretation of this move for this gentleman to head to court. Now, there will be a plan to use litigation to stop Ruto's moves. In fact, I just want to say it this way. It is about time that we re-examine the powers of president in these parastatals and state corporations. The president's signature, or rather, it has made it look like these parastatals are getting bailed by taxpayers' money. Those who are working there and they're paid by taxpayers' money. Kila kitu inakuwa funded from the taxpayer. But we have a constitution envisaged a situation where the president has control of everything. You know, just the same way the president will appoint the cabinet and the PS. And so we've also given some president veto powers, some monopolistic power on this. It is about time we look at it this way. Can we take appointments to the Public Service Commission? Will we remove them from the office of the president and take them to Public Service Commission? Maybe make appointments in those positions competitive, or rather on meritocracy. I'm saying this because there is a recent report that showed on a number of parastatals and state corporations that are not making profit, or rather that are not effective. And one of the reasons is attributed is lack of competency in those parastatals and state corporations. So we've made a situation where we can appoint people, we can just reward people in those positions. I've been hearing this very simplistic pedestrian word known as rewarding. When you talk about rewarding, does it accompany itself by the merits? Are we rewarding with merits, or we're just rewarding? That could be a loophole that is going on. That because these positions can just be appointed, the president can just appoint. I wonder whether that State Corporation Advisory Committee is an interviewing body, is a procurement body for people there. Because come wafanye interviews, they're just giving. And again, why should we have that body if president can make these appointments? It's a very silent body, that body that advises the president. Why should we even have it if the president can make the choice himself? What are they doing? Are they the team that chooses who to be appointed, or is the choice is who to be appointed or no? Because I don't think they are conducting interviews. Is it conducted by PSC? Are we giving merits? So our parastatals and state corporations could be going down because they are starving of competent leaders or competent people that can steer the corporations and those other parastatals. So it's a point we need to look at. Remove those powers, and in fact, I would even suggest that because they are powers that can be abused, tupate venye even the opposition can get a share instead of state parastatals, so that hata kama equal 50-50 or something, so that it doesn't just belong, because this is one thing that brings winner takes all. Now, the winner takes all is what is crippling our democracy. I've been asking, why do you think that even 6 months after general election and the contestation in Supreme Court, the public is still holding into that election? You know, I'm saying public because what Raila has been doing is not about Raila, it's about talking to the population. And the population is still holding into it. Why do you think that some other people still feel aggrieved by how things are being run? It's because winner take all. Some other people see that we are not part of it. We are not part of the discussion. And what actually brings that is this kind of arrangements where winner takes all is crippling our democracy. Ikuwe tumemaliza na si eti sasa sisi hatutakuwa hivi, you know, and we propagated it by making public statements on how we are going to reward those who voted for us or those who campaigned for us. So it's about time we look at it. But then the displeasure of these people, these victims, by these victims, will silently fuel anti-state demos. I may be wrong on this, but I'm just thinking that the displeasure, there are quite a number of people. Hata kulikuwa na watu wakati kura imeisha wali cross over to Kenya Kwanza na walikuwa Uhuru this, Ruto that, you know, there's so much, but now you can see them going back. I'm talking about Kabando after election hapo December kwanza alimeka a very long tweet akasema ametoka NAK Kenya Uhuru, you know. Now he's going back. Look at his tweets. He's now taking Ruto head on. So some of these revisit schemes would be behind anti-Ruto, anti-state demos. So we need to look at this critically. It's not about him. It's not about the military man. Men are going through it. And would the labor court get orders that will also protect this in future? If someone has been appointed, so it's in the office of the president. Mbona tusiwapate hizo 3 years wamalize ndio to replace? So these appointments where mtu unaweza fukuzwa anytime. Which kind of arrangement is that? I think we need to get security of tenure for the people in parastatals and state corporations. Otherwise, watu watakufa na stress. Mtu president ukipata tu unafukuzwa kazi. That's my end, guys.